Next, we will see how to align the display. What happens is your applet is basically a small embeddation into the web page. So you have a web page and your applet is embedded onto the web page. But the next question is, you can also specify where exactly the applet get embedded. Okay, alignment. So we can align the output of the applet or the applet itself using a tag called as align tag or align attribute. This attribute can have one of the 9 values. So you can align your applet to the left, to the right, to the top, to the text top, to the middle, to the absolute middle, to the baseline, bottom, absolute bottom of the HTML page. For example, if I say align equal to left, it will display the output, that is your applet, at the left margin of the web page. All the text that follows the align in the web page will be then placed to the right of the display. So it will look something like this. So this is my HTML code. Okay. Apart from the applet code, width and height, if I specify align equal to right, then you can see that the applet is, so this is applet and this is your page, web page, this is your applet. Applet is seen on the right hand side, whereas all the text is shifted to the left hand side here. Okay, so this is align attribute. Now your applet can be also used to display the numerical values. It's very important because applets also does something called as computations, numerical computations like addition, subtraction and so on. Okay, so we can display numerical values in applets by first converting them into strings and then using a drawString method of the graphics class. Basically what happens is applet treats any input that it receives as string, but when some numerical input is given, that is either int, float and so on, so you should use in order to convert, you should use the wrapper class called as string and its method called as value of. Okay, so now we will write a small code just to see how a numerical values can be given as input to the applet and how applet can display the final value. So we can see some program now. Okay, so I have created a folder called as numerical demo. Now I'll create a new file, a text document, and in this text document, okay, I will first create your applet file. I'll save it as number demo.java. Number demo.java. Now what you're going to write in this, I'm going to take some numerical values, I will do some addition, let's say, and I want to print the sum on the applet's canvas. Okay, so I'll write now import java.awt.graphics, or you can even say .star, import java.applet. Okay, then public class, you can say number demo, which extends applet. Okay, and now again see, I am not initializing anything. You can even initialize. For example, I will say public void init, just to show you how initialization can be done. I said background color, foreground colors also can be initialized. So I can just say background color, or I can just say set background. Okay, there is a method called set background, which sets the background, and there is a class called as color, and it has a static member. This color, see, basically your java.awt, along with the graphics method, there are also other methods. One of the method is a color method. Sorry, apart from graphics class, there are other classes in java.awt. So apart from this graphics class, there is another class called as color. Okay, and this color class has static variables which are nothing but the color names. For example, if I say color dot white or color dot red, let's say. So by doing this, I am setting the background color of that canvas of applet as red. Then I can also set some foreground color. I'll say set foreground, set foreground color, and say color dot say white, where white is also a static member of class called as color. Okay, so this is initialization, just to show you how initialization can happen. Then I say public void paint method, which uses graphics G. Okay, now here I will declare two integer variables, int say val1 equal to say 10, then int val2 equal to say 20. I declare two integer values, and then I will say int sum equal to val1 plus val2. However, this answer, okay, is a numerical value. Now if you want to show it on the applet canvas, then you have to somehow convert this integer into a string value. So I will declare a variable of type string s equal to, and I will say sum is, okay, plus, and now I want to print this sum, so I have to convert this sum to string. So I will be using a wrapper class called as string dot, and there is a method called as value of, that converts any parameter that is given, any numerical parameter that is given as input to it. Value of method converts it to the string value, and finally I will say g dot drawString, okay, s comma 50 comma 100. Yes, I will save this code, and now I have to also create a HTML document. So okay, before that I will execute this and show you the bytecode. Compile. Yes, so as you can see, the bytecode file has been created, and now I'll create my HTML file. So I'll say file save as numberdemo.html, save it as all files. Okay, so here for this HTML file I have to now write the code. So I'll say HTML then head, I'm not specifying any title this time. I'll say body, within this I will specify the applet tag, applet code equal to number demo dot class height equal to 300, width Okay, width will be 300. Height will be 100, let's say. Yes. So this is the closing of the applet, and I will save this number demo. Now using applet viewer, I'll say .html, and you can see that this time the applet that is displayed, its background color is red, its foreground color is white. Why? Because I have specified in the init method that my set background is red, set foreground is white. Okay. Also see that value 1, value 2, they have been added, but the answer is in sum. So I have used a wrapper class string and its method called as value of that converts any numerical number that is given as input to the string. So that's why it has printed that the sum is 30. However, this 30 is a string value. So this is how any numerical data can be displayed by the applet. Now last we will also see another example. I will do the modification in this code itself. Many times we require user to give an input through the keyboard. So how to get an input from the keyboard? So for that you require something like text area or text fields. Okay, we say text boxes, and to display the answers we require something like labels, right? So applet allows you to to have text boxes. So basically there is a class in the applet package, there is a class called as text field. Okay, so to use text field, the very first thing what I will do here is I will say text field, where text field is a class. Okay, text field I will call it as text1 comma text2. Why text1 comma text2? Because I want two text boxes or text fields. Text1 is the name of the first text box or text field, text2 is the name of the second text field. Correct? Now in this init method I have to now create objects of text field. We have just created the names, okay, reference names. The objects have to be created using new operator. Just before that I will change the color. Let us make it better. I'll just say background color is yellow. Okay, I'll just say yellow, and foreground color let us make it as red. Fine. Now apart from setting background, foreground, now I will create objects of text field. So I'll say text1 equal to new text field, text1 equal to new text field, and I am specifying that this text field that we have created object, it will have maximum 8 characters. Then similarly I will create object for text field, second object whose name is text2. I will say text2 equal to new text field, and maximum values that it can hold is 8 characters. Now it is not enough to only create objects of text fields. So that means you have created two text fields, but you have to add them to the applet canvas. So there is a method called as add, which I will have to call. So when I say add text1, now this text1 object that I have created will be added to the canvas of your applet. Similarly, when I say add text2, what will happen? This text box text2 object that I have created, that will be added to the canvas of this particular applet. Right? Now I have to initialize the text, because they are going to take numerical input, so I have to initialize them to 0. Okay, so that initialization also I will do in init method. So I will say text1 dot Now there is a method called as set text, okay, which initializes a text box or text field equal to, I will just say 0. That means I am initializing it to 0. Similarly, I will say text2 dot set text. This also I will initialize to 0. Okay. So in the init method, what I have done, first I have set the background color to yellow, foreground color to red. Then I have created the objects of text field class, text1 and text2. Here I had just created reference name, but using new operator the actual object creation happens in the init method, and I am specifying that the maximum characters that a my text field called as text1 and text2 can hold is 8. Then although the objects are created, they have to be added to the applet. So there is a add method. So text1, text2, when given as parameters to these add methods, both text boxes are added to your applet. Then set text is a method which is there, inbuilt method which is there in text field class. Set text is basically used to set the initial value of the text box. I am setting that to 0. Okay. Now let us write the paint method. Now in paint method, okay, I will ask the user to enter numbers. Okay. So for that I will require some variables. I will just declare int x equal to 0. Okay. Then y equal to 0 and z also equal to 0. I am declaring 3 variables. Let's say x, y, z all equal to zeros. Then I also declare a variable of type string, say s1, s2 and s3. Notice that now there is a lot of conversion that is required. See, first of all, user has to enter input, but whatever input that user enters in the text box, that will be treated as string. So there has to be a conversion, okay, wherein this string data that user has entered has to be converted to integer. So I will be using a wrapper class called as integer, and I will say integer dot parse int, and I will specify that string. So whatever user enters, although user enters a number, it will be treated as string. So conversion is required. String should be converted to integer, and then this converted integer will be, the operation will be performed on this converted integers, and then although the answer that is obtained is an integer answer, but it should be displayed on the applet. So again it should be converted back to string type. So again wrapper class string will be used and value of method will be used. All this we will do in paint method. So very first thing is I have to first print a message on that applet canvas that user has to input number in each box. So I will just say g dot draw string, g dot draw string, and the string is I want to write there input numbers in each of the text boxes. Okay. Now this should be printed at say 10, 80. Okay. So user will be seeing this particular line that input numbers in each of the text boxes at 10, 80. 80 is horizontal distance from top left, okay, and 10 is the 80 is the vertical distance from top left, and 10 is the horizontal distance from top left. Okay, and then actual calculation will happen. Now see, the user is going to type in text1, right? So how that value will be taken? See, basically when user is going to enter value in the text box, that value will be a string value. So I will be using variable called as s1 of type string to take that value. So I will say s1 equal to text1 dot, there is another method called as get text. What this method does, see, user is going to type some data in text1, right? Now there is a method called as getText. So whatever data that is typed in text box called as text1, getText method is going to fetch that data, which is again, although he has written a number, that will be treated as string, and this data or the number that is typed in text box 1, which is basically a string, will be stored in the string called as s1. Okay. Now, in order to do the computation, this number has to be, this string s1 has to be converted to integer. So that we'll see next. Next, what we'll do is we'll take the data that user has entered in the second text box using the same method called as getText. So I'll say text2 dot get text. So again, so by writing these two lines, what we'll do, whatever user enters in the first text box called as text1, getText method is going to fetch it and store it in s1. Notice that s1 is a string variable that we have declared. Okay, notice that s1 is a string variable that we have declared, because although user enters a number, that will be treated as a string. Similarly, in the second text box also, whatever he enters, which is a string data, although he enters a number, it will be treated as string, that will be stored in s2. But for our calculation, let's say I want to add these two numbers, I cannot add two strings, I have to convert them to integers. So the converted values I will be storing in this integer x and y. Okay, so I will say x equal to, and I will be using wrapper class called as integer. I will say integer dot parse int. Okay, so what this parsing method does is, whatever string that is supplied to it, say s1, that string will be parsed to integer. Similarly, y equal to, I say integer dot parse int, okay, s2, right? So s1 and s2, which are string values, parsing method will convert them to integer, and they will be stored in integer variable x and y. Finally, once this happens, now you can add this x and y and you can show the sum. Okay, so I'll say z equal to x plus y, and then I have to print a message. What is the message? That the sum is so and so. So again I'll say g dot draw string method I'm using, and I'll say the sum is the sum of above numbers, okay, is, and I want to display this again, say 10 comma 100, 10 comma 100. Fine. And now you need to print that sum. Okay, now you need to print that sum. So I'll say g dot draw string. Okay, what is that sum? Sum is z. Okay, now before that, z contains the addition of two numbers. So here I require to convert this z back to string so that it will be displayed. So I will write a code here. I will say s3 equal to string dot value of the integer variable z. So then I can say s3 here, comma. Now notice that I want to display the sum of above numbers and the final sum on the same line. So x value will remain the same 10, okay, but the y value in this case okay, I can even display it on the next line. So I can just say the x value is 10 and the y value is 110. Let's see how this will be displayed. Okay, so I will save this program. Okay, So what you do is you create a new project, Java application. Up to this it is same. You say next. Then let's say I select a folder, say test applets, project name it say Java application, whatever. Now notice that your applet does not have main method. So create main method here you have to uncheck here, and I will just name this project as user input demo. I'll name the project as user input demo. I have to uncheck create main class and I say finish. Okay. Now here you can see under the source packages only default package is there. So you can create a new package here. You say Java package, new Java package. Let's say new package is the name of the package. You say finish. Now here you right click and say new and say new applet. Okay, and the name of my applet is user input demo, and you say finish. Now when this happens, you see NetBeans IDE generates the code for you. First package is created, then you have your import statement, import java.applet.applet. Now what it does not automatically does is it does not import graphics package for you, so that you need to write here. You can say import java.awt.graphics. Okay, this becomes simple when you use IDE. Okay, and there is a init method that is given to you. Now I will only copy paste the code from okay, I will only copy paste the code. So the code that I've copied, I'm going to paste it here, and accordingly I'm going to use it. So first of all, user input demo is the name. Then I had text field, so that declared here. Now see, here there is an error that is shown. So don't import graphics, you just say java.awt.star. Okay, otherwise it will give you error here, because text field is another class apart from graphics. Text field is another class that is present in java.awt. So if you are just going to say graphics, then text field will show you error. So this is the first thing. I declare two text fields, text1, text2. Then I will copy as it is the full code from init method. Now I'll be able to see whether there are any errors. Yes, see here, text field, it should be F should be capital. F should be capital. Okay, then so this is my init method. Now after init method comes your paint method. So I will copy this full paint method. As it is, and I'm going to paste it here. Let's see whether there is any error. Okay, integer dot parse int. See here, spelling mistake, integer, and it should be drawstring, draw. Silly mistakes. Save. So that's it. I don't require any other code, so I will just, whatever I had copied, I'll delete it. I will save this file. Now students, please note, usually when any application is run, you press this button. This is nothing but running the project. Okay, however, you know that applets, they don't have main method. So let's see, if I click here, it will give you an error here. It says project user input demo, it does not have main class set, no main class is found. That is because you know that whenever a Java program is run, the interpreter starts executing the code from the main method. However, in applets there is no main method. So what we have to do here is, whenever you have applets, you cannot click the run arrow here, rather you can right click and say run file, or simply press shift and F6. You don't have to create HTML document. That's a beauty of using IDE. And now you can see all that I wrote, okay, is happening here. First of all, two text boxes I had created. These are the two text boxes. The background color was set to yellow. I can even see with IDE you can also change the color. When the moment you say color dot, it will show you so many other colors. For example, dark gray color I can choose. Okay, and foreground color also I can change. If you say just say dot, say orange I can take, just an example. And you can close this and you can again rerun the file. So this is more appealing, correct? Now, so set background, set foreground, then text boxes, maximum size is 8 characters. Then add has added this text boxes onto the applet canvas. Then they are initially they are set to 0. So as you can see here, 0 and 0 written. They are initially set to 0. Then in the paint method, what we have done, first after setting these variables, I am printing a message, input numbers in each of the text boxes at 10, 80. Okay, so at 10, 80, here this is 10. Okay, x value is 10, y value is 80. This point, it prints input numbers in each of the text boxes, right? Then whatever you type, it's stored in S1 and S2. Then those numbers of okay, I will just enter some numbers, say 34 and a number called as 67. Now I need to add these numbers. Okay, so the moment I type these get text, these values, they are stored in S1 and S2. Okay, then parseInt will convert this, although I have written 34, 67, they are considered as strings. So those strings have to be converted back to integers. Again, they have to be saved in X and Y. Then addition happens, and then after addition, the result is stored in S3. So integer converted back to string, and then it prints the sum of the above number is okay. It is printing at 10, 100. So here, and drawString method will print this last thing. drawString method will print whatever is the sum. But notice that after entering 34 and 67, the moment I press enter, actually the change should have been reflected here. The output should have been reflected here, but nothing happens. Okay, now nothing happens because the applet that we have created, it does not recognize any event. Now what is the event? Whenever we click any button or whenever we press enter, okay, whenever we refresh a page, these are the events. So there has to be something called as event handling. Okay, now right now at this moment, although you have an applet, although you have entered everything, but all this code, it will not execute, or although it executes, it will not be able to display the answer here. Why? Because the canvas has to be refreshed. It is not yet refreshed. Unless and until the form knows that there is an event that has occurred and I have to repaint the canvas, this will not happen. Okay, now for this particular thing, I will be writing one method now here. Okay, for event handling, I will be writing one method. I will say public boolean and the method name is action. So whatever action that happens, that will be noted here. Okay, two parameters it takes. One, variable e of event and variable o of object. So there are two classes. There is a class called as event class. There is a class called as object class. Event class notifies what is the event. Right now if you see here, I will be typing something and I will press enter. So pressing enter, key press, is an event that will be recorded by object E of event class. And what is that object that is pressed, because of which event takes place? So that is the object O. Now here I will just write a small code. I will just say repaint. Now what repaint method will do is, see, right now initially we had printed a message here 0. The sum of the above numbers is 0. Okay, S3. Okay, but actually what should be the value of S3? The value of S3 should be the addition of 34 and 67. That is not happening. Why it is not happening? Because this canvas is not yet refreshed. Okay, so whenever any variable is not set any value, Java assigns a default value of it to it, and S3 Z, okay, this calculation is not happening. It is not showing the output here, and that's why I have written a small code. Repaint method is going to repaint the canvas with the updated values. Okay, and since boolean is the return type of the function, I am supposed to say return true. Now once I do this, I try to run this particular file again, applet again. Now you see what happens. I enter the first number as 45. I enter the second number as 56. The moment I press enter, event occurs and the canvas is repainted and the answer, that is 101, gets displayed. Earlier, if I don't write this event method here, you would just see the answer as 0. The final result, that's a calculation value Z, will not be reflected here. So repainting of the canvas is not happening. Okay, so this is how the user inputs can be given to an applet. We have already seen what happens when the event is not handled inside an applet. Applet should know that an event has occurred and then that event has to be handled. So in that example we had seen, when the user enters some numbers in the text box, the moment to press enter, okay, it does not recognize that the event has occurred, and as a result the canvas is not reprinted. Now let us see how this event handling happens in applets. Event handling is a mechanism that is used to handle events which are generated by applets. An event could be the occurrence of any activity such as a mouse click or a key press and so on. In Java, events are regarded as method calls with a certain task performed against the occurrence of each event. Key events in Java. There are 5 key events that are recognized in Java. The first one is called as action event. This is triggered whenever user interface element is activated, such as when you select a menu item and all, there is an action that is happening on the user interface element. So this is called as action event. Second is the item event. Now when you talk about item, we are talking about something like drop down menu, or let's say selection or deselection of itemized or least element such as checkbox. This is called as item event. Text event, triggered when the text field is modified. Windows event, triggered when the window related operations such as closing or activating of window happens. And key event, triggered whenever a key is pressed on a keyboard. It is not necessary that a source generates only one type of event. It can so happen that multiple events can be generated simultaneously or at the same time. However, it is mandatory that the source object registers listener objects corresponding to each of its event types. You see, there are source objects which notify the events, and there are something called as listener objects. These listener objects will listen to a particular event and accordingly take the necessary action. So there are two things. There is an event and there is a listener, right? The registration of the listener object with an event, it ensures that on occurrence of an event, the corresponding listener object is notified for taking appropriate action. Following the syntax of registering, following is the syntax of registering a listener for an event. Okay, now this is a syntax. Now here, when we specify type, this type is nothing but it is the name of the event. So public void add name of the event, listener, again here name of the event, whereas evlist is corresponding listener object reference. Event listeners. The event listener object, it contains method for receiving and processing the event notifications which are sent by the source objects. These methods are implemented from the corresponding listener interface contained in java.awt.event package. Event classes. All the events in Java, they have corresponding event classes associated with them. These are present in a package called as java.util. Each of these classes are derived from one single superclass, and that is called as event object superclass. So you will have your event objects class which contains the two important methods for handling events. You have getSource method which returns the event source, and toString method which returns a string that contains information about the event source. The immediate class of this superclass, that is called as event object, is AWT event class, from which all the abstract window toolkit based event classes are derived. So this is a brief hierarchy of event based classes. You have java.util package has event object class. Then from event object class, there is a AWT event class which is present in java.awt. Then from this AWT class, there are different event classes occurring. There is LAction event, even LAction event. Then there is even item event. There is even text event. Then there is so basically there are different types of events. Now when you talk about this component event, it has within it, there is input element, input event. Then there is a key event. There is mouse event. Similarly, there is a container event, window event, focus event. So these are all various events which are possible, and these are the different classes for those events. Now we will see in a small example wherein we will design an applet wherein the keyboard event, the moment I press a key of the keyboard, this applet will sense the key press moment, and the moment I release the key, it will sense the key release moment. Okay. Now for this event handling, I am importing java.awt.event package.star. Now it has an interface called as key listener, which is used for keyboard activities. Okay, so I am importing that. Apart from that, since it is an applet, I am importing java.applet and java.awt packages and the corresponding classes. So my class keyboard event demo, it extends applet since it's an applet, and it implements key listener. So this is how it gets registered to the listeners. Then in the init method, the moment the applet is initialized, we are adding key action event listener. So I am saying add key listener this. So for this particular applet, we are registering it for key listener event. Okay. Now there are different methods which are contained in this key listener. There is a method called as key typed. There is a method called as key release. There is a method called as key pressed. Now key type method, whenever we type certain sequence of keys, okay, that code is present in this key type. Okay, each of this method take an input of a class called as key event. Key event is the class. Okay, KB is the object. Now what we want to do is, the moment it presses a key, any key, the moment it presses a key, the applet should sense it. So that's why we are going to write the code in key released and key pressed. So let's see the code for key pressed. Public void key pressed object for this method is key event KB. Show status. Now there is a status that is shown at the at the bottom of the applet. So the moment key is pressed, we want the status to be shown that key on the keyboard is pressed. Similarly, whenever the key is released, we want the status on the applet. Okay, below the applet, the status should be shown that key on the keyboard is released. So we type this show status methods within this. Then just for a change, I am using a F1 font is another class which is present in java.awt. Font contains various fonts. I am creating object F1 of type font, wherein I am specifying the Times New Roman is the font. Second parameter is whether it is bold, italic, and so on. Now italic, bold, these are nothing but these are the static members of the class called as font. So you can directly use class name and dot operator, and 25 is the size of that particular font. So F1. Then in paint method, the very first thing what I do is I set the font to F1. Then I set the color to pink, and then I print drawstring. So this will be printed on the screen of the or on the canvas of the applet. This applet senses up or down motion of keys. Okay. So now what will happen? Just see. When any key is pressed, okay, the applet that is loaded, you will see that the show status. Now this is where the status is located. So the moment the key is pressed, you will see key on the keyboard is pressed, it's sensed. So it senses key press movement, and as a result on the status bar it shows key on the keyboard pressed. This happens when any key is pressed. Then suppose the key is now released. So you will see that the show status will now show that key on the keyboard is released. So you can see key on the keyboard is released. So these are the two activities which are sensed: keyboard pressing, key pressing, key releasing. These are the two activities which are now sensed by the applet. Okay, and accordingly on the status the messages are reported. So this is how the key listener interface can be used, and this is how your applet can sense the key movement. We can write Java applets that draws lines, figures of different shapes, images, and text in different fonts and styles. We can also incorporate different colors in display. Every applet has its own area of screen which is known as canvas, where it can create its display. The size of applet space is decided by the attributes in the applet tag. A Java applet draws graphical image inside its space using the coordinate system as shown below. Java's coordinate system has the origin 0, 0 in the upper left corner. So as you can see, if this is the applet, upper left corner here of the canvas is 0, 0. Positive x values are to the right, so these are the positive x values, and positive y values are to the bottom. These are the positive y values. The values of coordinates x and y are in pixel. So whenever you are drawing a figure, you have to specify the x and y. So when you are saying 20, 20, this point, it means from the origin 20 pixels towards the right and 20 pixels towards the bottom, that is this cell. So that is it for today's lecture. In the next lecture, we are going to explore how graphics programming can be done using Abstract Windows Toolkit and using applets. Thank you.